These are very unusual times, and one day when this is all over, you will be telling your children about the time that our brilliant school community overcame a huge challenge, how we stuck together to help and care for each other. Keeping apart will not last forever. This too will pass. But until we get the vaccine, it's important to follow the government's guidance to help keep our loved ones and friends safe. In the meantime, enjoy our short but very moving carol service, the first virtual carol service in the history of our school. Thanks to Master McGowan, Mrs. Daly, Miss Ferry, Mr. Crossan and the wardrobe team for putting it all together, and of course to all the participants. On behalf of the staff, I wish you and your families a very happy Christmas. Be kind, be hopeful, and talk to the people who love you.
Mary lived in Nazareth, a village in the hills of Galilee. She was engaged to be married to Joseph, a carpenter who lived in the village. One day, God sent an angel called Gabriel to Mary. "Don't be frightened," he said. "God has sent me to tell you that you will have a son, and you must call him Jesus. He will be a great king, and his kingdom will last forever." Mary was very puzzled. "I don't understand," she said to Gabriel. "How can I have a son? I am not married yet." "It will be the work of God, who can do anything," said Gabriel. "Your son will be holy and will be the Son of God." Mary bowed her head. "I am God's servant. I'll do what he wants." When she looked up, Gabriel had gone. Mary and Joseph lived happily together and looked forward to the birth of the baby Mary was expecting. A few months later, the Roman Emperor Augustus, who ruled the whole country, made a new law. Everyone must go to the town their family came from to register so they could be taxed. Joseph's family came from Bethlehem, so he had to go back there. He started on the long journey with Mary, who was expecting her baby quite soon. They loaded up their donkey with warm clothes, food, water, and things for the baby. It was late when they reached Bethlehem, and Mary was very tired. The small town was crowded and noisy with all the people who had come home to register. Joseph tried to find a room to stay in for the night, but everywhere was already full up. He knocked on the door of the last inn, but it was already full. Not one room left. There was a stable nearby though, which was clean and empty. Joseph led the donkey to the stable. He helped Mary down. Then he made a soft bed of straw for her on the floor and covered it with his cloak. Mary ate some food and then lay down, thankful she could rest at last. That night, Mary's baby was born. She washed him and wrapped him in the clothes she had brought with her. Joseph filled a manger with soft, clean hay to make a bed for the baby, and Mary laid him gently in it. She called her new baby Jesus, as the angel had told her to, and he was the Son of God. the hills near Bethlehem, some shepherds lay around their campfire, guarding their flocks of sheep during the night. Suddenly they saw a brilliant light in the dark sky, and an angel stood in front of them. They were very scared. "Don't be frightened," said the angel. "I have wonderful news for you and for all people. Tonight, the Son of God was born in a stable in Bethlehem." The shepherds were very excited. "We must go to Bethlehem and look for this child," said one shepherd. The others agreed. They gathered up their things and ran as quickly as they could down the dark hills to the little town. They soon found the stable, and knocking on the door, crept quietly in. They looked at the baby lying in the manger and knelt down in front of him. The shepherds told Mary and Joseph what the angels had said to them. After a while, they got up and left the stable. They strode through the streets of Bethlehem, telling everyone they met the good news that the Son of God had been born that night. Soon the whole town knew about the birth of Jesus. In the quiet stable, Mary looked at her baby son and thought about the shepherds and what the angel had told them. She wondered about it all. In a country far from Bethlehem lived some wise men who studied the stars. One night they saw a new star, which was much brighter than all the rest. They knew it must mean something special has happened. After a lot of study, they decided that it meant a new ruler had been born, and they must go and find him. They began their long journey, taking presents for this new ruler. They followed the star which moved across the night sky ahead of them. At last they arrived in the great city of Jerusalem. "Tell us where we can find this baby," they said. "We have seen his star in the sky and know he is born to be the King of the Jews."
Rejoice.
When King Herod heard the news that 3 strangers were trying to find the baby, he was angry and frightened. The Roman rulers of the country had made Herod the king of the Jews. He asked his priests and wise men what it meant. They studied the old records and told King Herod that many years ago it had been foretold that the King of the Jews would be born in Bethlehem. Herod asked for a secret meeting with the wise men. When they came, he told them to go to Bethlehem. When you find this child, let me know, so I can worship him too. The wise men agreed and started at once along the road to Bethlehem. The star still moved ahead of them, and then seemed to stop over the town. The wise men knew that they had come to the right place. They were overcome with joy. They soon found out where Mary and Joseph were. On entering the house, they saw the baby Jesus. They knelt down in front of him and paid him homage. Then they offered him gifts of gold, myrrh, and frankincense. And having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they left for their country by another road.